Thanks for taking the time to talk to us. Appreciate it a lot. How good does it feel to finally have news that there is a stadium coming? I know there's a lot of work to be done
So
between
good.
that. Is
So
it like
good.
a weight lifted off your shoulder?
I would say one weight lifted off your shoulder for sure, and then a whole bunch more different kind of weights on because now we got to deliver, and we still have a process to go through. I think everyone knows there's still the city's ULERP process, which we can't drive. We're a participant in, and that's going to be something that probably lasts another 12 to 18 months, and so we need to get through that process. We need to be successful, in that process, and I think we're eager and excited to go through it and have the meaningful dialogue and conversations with the people of Queens and the people of Community Board 7, and we're just so thankful for the support of Mayor Adams, for the support of Councilmember Moya, for the support of Bronx Borough President Richards, and so many other community leaders and elected officials that are all behind this project and excited to build a brand new neighborhood in Willets Point, Queens.
Now, I know the biggest event I've ever thrown is my own wedding.
All right.
And right
Nice.
before your event,
Yeah.
you're going to all these weddings and going, I don't like that. I like that.
Totally.
The DJ was trash.
Yeah, yeah.
Is
That
that
cake
what you're
sucked.
experiencing right now?
Totally. I mean, we went. Obviously, it was in Nashville this last weekend. Last year, was trying to kind of tick off every new building. Columbus, Cincinnati. Haven't been to Austin yet. Trying to make it there this year. St. Louis is another one that I'm really interested and excited to see. But yeah, and then also getting ideas from other buildings and other sports and other countries. So like whether it's soccer stadiums in Europe or NBA arenas, NFL stadiums, things like that, where anything, it could be something with a club space, it could be something with a type of seating, seating platform, it could be something with concessions or, that you see somewhere that you say, hey, that's a great idea. Or that sucked. So yeah, we have actually every stadium that we visited as a group. We do a whole huge brief, take tons of pictures. The people in Nashville were kind enough to give us a really detailed behind the scenes tour, and we're annoying, asking like tons and tons of questions. But really, to me, like the most interesting and impactful answers you can get is like, what are the 2 or 3 things that you think is the best thing you did about this building, and why, and like where did you miss, or what did if you could do it differently, what would you have done, or what would you definitely not do again? Just getting 2 or 3 ideas from each kind of stadium operator and each team is super helpful for us as we go through the process that we hope to continue to go through over the next 4 years.
Nice.
Is there anything you could sneak peek that you're thinking of for the new stadium that you
boy.
have in mind that will excite the fans? Something an idea
Yeah.
that it has to be put into action, but nothing's been there yet.
And we're totally not going to commit you, but we are to it. So.
Yeah. So the one thing that jumps to mind, and we don't have a concrete solution or plan here, but something that we know we want to do. And it's something that, quite frankly, this is going to be one where we're going to be engaging fans throughout the design process and things of that nature. But we also, and things from the fan experience, trying to hear from the fans. But one thing that I love that we see in other stadiums is the whole kind of march to the match and kind of rituals and things like, how do we integrate players into that, player arrival. So I'll give you an example. So we were in Atlanta last year, and the Atlanta United team, they're playing obviously a huge NFL stadium, but they go down, they get to the game very early, like 3 hours early, where most teams get to the game an hour and a half early. They go in the locker room, they have a team meal, they get dressed, they get in a team bus back in the back house and drive out of the stadium all the way around to an area where all the fans are kind of like congregating pregame at kind of the 90-minute mark, and then they kind of come out and they do a procession and they have the spike and they autograph it and do this whole thing, and then they go back down to their locker room and change out of their suits and into their jerseys, and then the fans grab the spike that has just been signed by the players and they bring it. So it's stuff like what I'm going to commit to is we're going to do something like that. We definitely won't have a spike. I also guarantee that. But we'll do something like that. And that's in the design. We're talking to architects about we need a path. Like we have obviously great public transportation at this site, so we expect a lot of people are going to be taking the subway or the LIR, and so people will, where they congregate, what is that path? How do we engage the players in it? Like what could a new this kind of this new experience for fans and the ritual, like what could that look like? And so I guess that's my secret. Is that my one thing I'll share is we're definitely going to do something. I have no idea what it's going to be, and I'm not going to come up with it. It's going to be fans are going to come up with it, I'm sure, and it's going to be fantastic, and it's going to be something new that we haven't really been able to do before, based on kind of our current our current situations.
Sounds
That's
good.
awesome.
I know 30% of like the population in Queens is Hispanic. How do you plan to engage that audience? Coming up with this new stadium coming up very soon, it's a great opportunity to start engaging the Hispanic community in that area.
Absolutely.
And
Yeah.
so what's the plan of action to really get
Well, we want to, engage the Hispanic community in Queens, but we also want to, engage the Hispanic community throughout the 5 boroughs and beyond. And something that we started last year, we committed a significant 7-figure marketing budget specific to kind of the Hispanic market, in creating content that was, that is authentic, and bringing and hiring new people that are Spanish speaker, are native Spanish speakers onto our staff, onto our content staff, full time, part time. This year, we're bringing on in-game, an in-game host, which is a native Spanish speaker, a PA announcer, to kind of tag team with English. So you'll see English, Spanish, like throughout the in-game match presentation, both at Citi Field and at Yankee Stadium. And so there's just more and more in terms of like where are we spending marketing dollars and what kind of channels. It's going to be more of where the Spanish speakers are, and shifting more. We started last year. We're going to double down and do even more of that this year. And so our goal, even throughout our front office, I think that we probably have at least 3x the amount of native Spanish speakers on the staff than we did when I started this job 4 years ago. So it's been something that has been a focus, I would say, over the last couple of years, but really in the last 12 months, and now on a going forward basis.
Are you using Duolingo to work on your Spanish?
So I took 7 years of Spanish in school. Going forward, I know enough to be dangerous. I'm not very strong from a speaking standpoint, but from a comprehension standpoint, I'm okay. But yeah, we're doing Duolingo challenges within the office.
Oh, really?
Yeah, seriously.
Oh, that's awesome.
So we have all that happening. Yeah.
Oh, that's cool.
I guess you got to start listening to Bad Bunny to get that up.
Oh man, I know. Man, you gotta give me a playlist or something.
We got you.
Yeah, I appreciate that. Yeah.
You got it.
No, you go.
So, question that all the fans want to know: how much better is this new stadium going to be than Red Bull, percentage-wise?
What's the highest? I don't know. 1,000%. I mean, all joking aside, and I mean, I think like Red Bull Arena is a proper soccer pitch and soccer stadium, and so our team obviously would 1,000 times rather play Yankee Stadium or Citi Field and have our fans there. But the times where we have played at Red Bull Arena, you're going to get a quality pitch. It's a proper soccer stadium. We've done pretty well there, from a results standpoint. And then quite frankly, we've been in a tough situation, and fans don't like to hear it, but they've helped us out, and it's unfortunate that their fans don't like us playing there, our fans don't like us playing there. We ideally, we're playing 100% of our games between Yankee Stadium and Citi Field. There's, just like I mentioned before, with every stadium, there's things that you take from every venue. There's things that you'll take from Red Bull Arena, that I think that the stadium that they do really well. But our stadium's going to be very different. We're only in the conceptual design stage, and we're moving in from an architectural standpoint. We'll be moving in over the next couple months into what's called the schematic design, which is where you really kind of putting the walls down. Like, here's exactly where the locker room's going to go. Here's exactly where the supporter section, and how many seats are going to be in, and how many seats are going to be over here, and all the different kind of the walls, the real structure standpoint. That's what we'll be working on over the next 6 months, and then after that, you get into the real detail of like what the design is. But right now, we're only in the conceptual design. But I can tell you that it could not look more different, from Red Bull Arena. There's a lot of things that I think that we love about and that fans and people that go to games at Red Bull Arena that enjoy about that experience. Ours will be very different, and I know our fans are going to love it, and our fans are going to be helping us shape it throughout the process.
Have you thought about keeping the pitch intentionally small?
Oh man, everyone asks that. Yeah, have I thought about it? Yes, of course. Yeah. But, is it going to happen? I doubt it. I don't want to burst anyone's bubble. I doubt that's going to be the case. Yeah. But we haven't really gotten into the specifics yet.
Gotcha.
But the thing is also about the same. You want it to be able to be multi-purpose, and so it's not likely to be the same dimensions as Yankee Stadium or Citi Field.
What do you think of the Apple TV contract with MLS? I mean, we personally love it, but we would like to.
I am super bullish on it. I mean, we had a great relationship with Yes Network. The people at Yes Network are fantastic. We're really committed to NYCFC, and so we miss them. And I would say the people part of it we miss. Mm-hmm. But I think from a fan standpoint, the thing, one-stop shop, like being able to go and all the content and everything that's going around. I mean, it's not just watching the games. I mean, you subscribe and now you go into the NYCFC hub and it's like content for days, and you can just kind of get lost in that. It's just going to be more and more and more and more, and then archival stuff, and as seasons go on, as this season goes on, as multiple seasons go on, like being able to rewatch any game you want on demand. I mean, it's just, there's nothing, been nothing like it before. I love the, no blackout, watching from anywhere. I mean, people, if you travel, that we would always get complaints about, blackouts, or I'm like right on the edge of, or my TV or my satellite or cable, company's not carrying Yes or whatever, or obviously we had challenges with game times with Yankees, and so now it's just everything, where to go. Saturday 7:30, Wednesday, some Wednesdays 7:30, and it's kind of one-stop shop. I mean, it's obviously small sample size of one weekend, but the broadcast quality I thought was outstanding. Yeah. Actually exceeded my expectations for week one. So, I mean, super bullish.
Talking about Yes Network, fan favorites Joe Tollison and Ian Paul Joy. Unfortunately, they're no longer part of any of the broadcast. Are they going to be part of the organization in some type of capacity?
Yeah, yes, they will be. They both huge supporters, huge fans. Joe actually was. We had a big watch party here at Webster Hall for the opener. Joe was the MC for that. We're working with Joe on how we can utilize his talents throughout the year, and kind of we're working on a scope of work with him. Same with Ian, and I'm optimistic that we'll have both of them in the fold, in some way, shape, or form in 2023 and beyond.
Unfortunately, we caught you right after a loss, so we have a lot of questions on the team. NYCFC typically hires people after the season starts. Wonder if that's like intentional, why that occurs. Are you guys trying to set the bar low and then we just blow up at the end? Just wondering why that happens.
Yeah, I mean, I would say it's not like a dead set strategy of saying like let's just keep signing players late. But if you ask a coach, that's Nick, and Nick, like they want obviously first day of training of preseason, you want the entire squad would be ideal. On the flip side, it's there's a lot of dynamics at play. So like we typically there's certain kind of profiles of players, and I think we have one of the best in the business with sporting director with David Lee. I'm super pumped for Nick to have a full kind of off-season, preseason under his belt. We're really excited for Nick to have a full year coaching. We love our coaching staff. We have City Football Group Global Scouting Network. So I mean, we couldn't be more confident in like all the people that are doing these jobs. And generally, like there's things like the European transfer window, right? Yeah. Is the month of January. There's players that maybe we're interested in that that are saying, hey, we want to see what happens
That makes sense.
out there. And for us, we can your option, and I'm sure other teams face the same thing. And then your option are either, all right, sign the options C or D or F, on your list to get them in now, or kind of like be patient, and see what happens. And then, so there's some targets that we have, and there's other guys that weren't even targets, and then all of a sudden the transfer window closes, January 31st, and then they didn't move, or they thought they were going to move, and all of a sudden now there's like a whole new group of players that we weren't like looking at, before then, that now are like theoretically now are available. And so I think that there's some strategy in it in terms of like generally being patient, trying to find the right players for our system that everyone is bought in on, that Dave's bought in on, that Nick and the coaches are bought in on, that we're getting, also that we feel like you're getting at good values. You can, by the way, you can get those player A or B early in the window in January if you significantly overpay. There's a way to make that happen. But I think that generally for us, we've been, like I said, disciplined, patient, and over the years, and it's worked. I mean, there's guys that there's a ton of, guys like Talos Magno and Santi Rodriguez and even Gabby Pereira, like all these guys that we've gotten after the season started over the last couple of years. It's because they're opportunities that became available later that weren't available early. It wasn't just like we wanted those guys in January and then we decided to sign them in May or April or March. Yeah. It was that they weren't available then, and then they became available. Yeah. And we were able to do that. And some other teams, you have they have a different strategy. They're like, hey, come hell or high water, we want to have an entire full squad on opening, to start the preseason. I'm not saying that one is right, one's wrong. They're just different, different approaches. I think that it doesn't mean that that's how NYCFC will always do it. But I think that it's worked. Being disciplined and being patient has really worked for us over the last few years, and I think it's going to work for us this year too.
Nice. Oh, that does
You
make
did
sense.
mention Santi Rodriguez. Any update that you can speak of?
I have no official update other than Santi Rodriguez is a player that was a great player for us and was someone that I think it'd be safe to say that any team, any MLS team or any team anywhere would be happy to have, and so he's someone that we would like to be on the squad in 2023.
Makes sense.
He's coming back. All right. You want to do the rapid question? I think we're running out of time.
Yes, rapid question.
Okay.
So we wanted to ask
lightning round, or what is this?
Yeah,
a
lightning round.
Okay.
We're just gonna ask a couple rapid questions. Nothing serious, just fun games. We know the CEO Brad Sims, but we want to know the man behind the CEO Brad Sims.
The dude.
Yeah, the dude. Exactly.
Yeah.
So, first question here. Our sources say you were Chief Revenue Officer of the Cavs before NYCFC.
Yep.
How easy was that job when LeBron James was around?
Everyone asked that question.
Oh, I thought it was original.
No, it actually was. It actually, and you probably won't believe me. It actually got way harder because essentially, like, our owner came in like after that happened and just said, all of your goals are just like way up, and so it was more stressful because it was kind of like we could not have an empty seat, like, and it was like, so it's like if you have an empty seat, like, that's on me, it's like you can't have empty seats. Like, we had to go from being, towards the bottom of the league in revenues to at the very, very, very top, and so expectations were just way higher. But I don't think it was easier. It was I would actually say it was harder, but I will say it was way more fun. For sure, way more fun. Winning is way more fun than losing. Absolutely.
He didn't ask a rapid fire question.
Yeah. Deep
Deep dish pizza. Is it good? Is it pizza?
No, I'm not a deep dish guy at all. Not at all. Not
Nets,
even in the
Knicks.
least bit. What's that?
Nets or Knicks?
Nets or Knicks? I have friends at both places. A diplomatic answer. I still follow the Cavs, quite frankly, and so I still have a loyalty there after 7 years winning a championship. I still follow. So I would say Nets, Knicks. I'd say either both or neither, but I keep them exactly the same. Yeah.
Giants, Jets?
Okay, so my wife is from Philadelphia, and I worked, prior, actually, years ago, early 2000s, I worked for the 76ers and the Flyers and the Comcast Spectacor Group, so I spent about 7 years in Philadelphia and kind of inherited some of those teams, and by marriage, inherited Eagles, so definitely neither Jets or Giants.
I'm actually an Eagles fan, so I
Are you
actually
really?
love that. I
Nice.
am.
All
I
right.
am. Nick Foles is
Cool. Yep.
my room. I mean, he's not, but I wish he was.
Did we, I, let's connect after this. I got a great Nick Foles story.
Oh, that's
That's great.
awesome.
I think we're good.
Yankees, Mets.
Yankees, Mets, but that can get
Again,
pretty,
it's gonna be the
uh,
same. It's gonna be both.
I
It's gonna
already
be
knew it was
both.
gonna be the-
But
you can't technically say
whereas
that.
the other one I said might be neither, and this case it's both. It's definitely not neither. It's both. Yeah.
Yeah, I knew that was coming.
All right.
All right.
Yeah.
I think that
All
was
right.
all.
Yeah. Thanks
Thank
for
All
your
right.
time,
Thanks,
Brad.
guys.
Brad.
All right.